Welcome everyone to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. Today is the AF Crusade after Freya. At least for now. So, joining me this time around, of course, wouldn't be a crusade if it wasn't my good friend, the random dude, Josh. And we've delved into our podcasting think tank. And invited Matthew along to join us on this epic crusade. Matthew.
Hello, everybody.
How do you do, sir?
I'm doing quite well. I woke up about an hour ago.
All right, that's good.
So it's already a lazy morning, starting out doing one of my favorite things. So here we are.
Excellent. So everybody knows me, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and of course, random dude Josh. 95, that's your handle on Twitter, yes?
That is my handle on Twitter, yes, sir.
Excellent. So, guys, check out Matthew on there. There's the banner as we speak. So, before we get into the books, Matthew, tell us a little bit about yourself. Why DC Comics?
Well, I love DC Comics. I've always been a huge Marvel fan and DC fan equally.
He likes migraines.
I do love migraines. Yes. I find a lot, as much as everybody loves the Marvel series, for me personally, I find a lot of the characters in the DC universe more relatable. I also really love the darker sides, because I'm super edgy and love the darker stories that tend to come along with the DC universe, especially in the Batman series.
Okay.
So I believe we all ended up picking something out of the Batman series for our stuff today. I mean, it's kind of hard not to do because
picking the Batman book is like falling off a boat at sea and hitting water.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a Bat book.
I'm very surprised that Batman's back isn't like constantly in crippling pain from carrying the DC universe.
See how it goes in Justice League because he's getting a rough ride there. So who's your favorite characters?
My favorite characters. Oh man, from the DC universe, I have to go with Red Hood as one of my favorites.
Right, out.
Yeah, look.
We managed to get rid of Tracy, and now we've got.
All right, see, guys. No. See, look, I have a whole cosplay plan for him. I have this whole thing set up. You can actually go to my Instagram and check out a few photos that I did. I love him. I was going to wear the helmet for this bit for this whole podcast, but I can't wear my headphones at the same time. So it didn't work out, but it's fine.
Saints be preserved. Are you liking the Red Hood's look on the Gotham Knights preview?
I am. I love the Red Hood design. The only outfit that I didn't really care for was in Outlaw when he had moved out to the West and he got rid of the helmet and just did the mask and hood.
Oh, the Ermac, the Mortal Kombat style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only one I didn't really care for, but it still had its own twist of the character, its own design.
Okay, well, I play the Injustice mobile game, Injustice 2, which Josh always gives me grief for, and I absolutely love losing when I use the Red Hood character. So,
oh man,
just saying. All right, okay, so
you just don't know how to play it right.
Really?
Let's take a drink and just quickly shut up and move on.
And on that note, all right, okay.
Hydration check, everybody. Hydration check.
That's fine. I'm a mobile gamer, so it's like Josh has always he's always busting my balls over playing the mobile until he joined the dark side with his what was that game you recently downloaded, Josh?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, you've got to put it where your mouth is.
Arena.
Yeah. What's it
Magic
called?
the Gathering Arena.
Magic the Gathering Arena. Yes, MTG.
There you go. So you have now joined the dark side, young Padawan.
Man, I wouldn't consider it dark side. He just has an abundance of black mana.
Yeah, okay.
This man, right there, speaking my language.
That man right there.
Yeah, just over there. Well, right. we'll convert you eventually.
Okay. On that note, let's get into the book. All right. So, as Matthew has alluded to, it is a bat-heavy week this week. So, if you don't like Batman, see you later. Who am I kidding? Everybody loves Batman, right?
Everybody loves Batman.
First book up is the new miniseries, Batman the Detective. This is issue number 1 of 6. It is written by, where are my notes? It's written by Tom Taylor, art by Andy Kubert, colors by the always fantastic Brad Anderson, and letters by Clem Robbins. Now, back in the day, I had Tom Taylor as my dark horse pick to take off Batman after King left. Okay, I was wrong because Jim Tynion's got the deal, and of course I can't say Tom Taylor too much without thinking of the Home Improvements and Tom the Toolman Taylor. So you've got that going on for as well.
Was it Tom or was it Tim?
I know. I'm just going for the joke. Chill out.
Look, you're killing me.
Look, it is called a pun, a play on words.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you. I appreciate that support.
Yeah.
Hey, cool.
No, I did a performance. I did a performance of puns the other day. It turns out it was just a play on words.
Oh God.
Oh, I couldn't help it.
I'm not drunk enough for this.
Josh, add sense to this unsensibility and tell us about Batman Detective, please.
So, Batman the Detective, how's the best way to put it? Bruce Wayne has effectively given Gotham the good old middle finger and is hightailed out, and has hopped across the giant pond to your neck of the woods.
Jolly old England. Woohoo!
Yes. Now, interesting thing about this story is we've got copycats with guns. I think they literally took that one line from The Dark Knight. There's more copycats with guns and put them in this. And then can someone explain the obsession of having the nightmare sequence Batman in everything now?
Is it the Nightmare Batman?
There is enough. You look at this, the style of the bat suit with the trench coat, the bat, the gloves are going up over the coat. It is very, very similar to the nightmare sequence. So much that he even has goggles.
Well,
he does have goggles. Yes.
I think you're. I'm going to cut out some slack here. This isn't a kind of nightmare Batman. This is Batman 666 Batman. Remember, Andy Kubert and Grant Morrison introduced Damian as the future Batman in Batman 666.
That is right. Yep.
And wore a suit that was very, very similar to this, and that was way before any of this nightmare Batman Snyder stuff.
Yeah, but just the way that this is designed, the artwork in this, and the way that they've designed Batman is very similar to the Snyderverse nightmare scene.
And I'm sorry, Matthew, help me out with here. Check out those long boots. That's Gotham by Gaslight.
I'm gonna remain neutral on this one. Look. I will claim ignorance on this one.
Okay.
I do know about the Damian bat suit. I do see similarities in that design. The Nightmare Batman, they're similar. I think once again they're trying to go for that dark and edgy kind of style. And this style of outfit tends to match that description. And so it goes with it. The trench coat, I like the trench coat. I think it's a nice little flair and change.
I guess I should probably clarify. I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, we've seen worse bat suits, like that blue daytime bat suit that we had
Oh, Batman Shiny.
Yeah, Batman Shiny. I mean, that suit was just no. Even though, yes, I said I liked it at the time, but then I thought better.
He gained conscience.
I did. But
I apologize.
I mean, this book is just setting the stage for Batman in London.
Mm-hmm.
He's already said adios to Gotham. It is what it is. It's setting the foundation. Okay. My issue is I'm going to pull a Freya here.
Oh my God. Go on then.
Okay. So on this panel, as Bruce is leaving the Batcave, and for those of you listening to this, you're going to want to go over to, go over to our YouTube channel to look at this particular panel, because can someone explain why Bruce looks like a dwarf?
He does. That in that shot, he looks very
All
small.
we need is 6 more copies of that and Snow White singing hi ho, it's off to London we go.
That's funny. Yeah. Maybe that's the London take on it. Is they're trying to get across that everybody from England is short or something. I don't know. And that's meant to be no offense to you, Johnny. It's just,
I'm gonna get so much hate mail later from Johnny, but
no, that's cool.
It's cool.
Just something about Bruce's
podcast again.
Just something about Bruce's design. I'm not buying it. I don't.
It looks more like a Frank Castle.
Yeah, or a Wolverine maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So are we getting Batclaw? Can we get Batclaw instead?
Yeah, I'm holding up a claw now. Guess which one that is. So, Matthew, do you agree with... so, Josh, first of all, did you enjoy reading the book?
It was better than my pick.
Well, to be fair, Teen Titans Go is better than your pick. I have no idea what you were smoking when you picked that.
Well, at the time of recording, it is 4:20, so...
No, I'm not going to do that. It is 4:20, yes.
Well, time of recording, it's...
April 20th.
Yeah. Right, okay, so, Matthew, what do you think of this book?
It was definitely interesting. So when I first looked at it, I was like, Batman Detective. Oh, they're in London. Oh, they're going to do like some Sherlock Holmes stuff, and I was super excited for that. Like going back to the roots of being the detective, it just, I was a little disappointed. I'm not saying it wasn't good, but just a little disappointed that it didn't go the route that I had expected it. But it was still a decent book.
Okay, cool.
Decent release.
Yeah.
He did punch a ghost.
He did punch a ghost.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So, how are we about the pencils? We've talked about the batsuit. We've talked about the dwarfism. We've talked about the fact that guy's 6 foot wide, not 6 foot tall. So, is there anything redeeming about the art?
Sorry, what?
Is there anything redeeming about the art? We like the suit, even though there are times he still looks a bit short in it, I suppose. But do we like the art as a whole?
Yes, I think it's very well done, very, very detailed.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's something else about DC Comics is that they always seem to hire really good artists.
Yeah.
Or get really good artists to do these issues, because I can't off the top of my head actually recall looking at a DC comic and going through and like, oh man, that's not really. There could have been more detail in his face or his expression. His expression. Like
some of our previous episodes.
Look, okay, so like I said, off the top of my head.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, and please don't judge me too much off that. But I personally enjoy most of the artwork that DC releases.
Cool.
So, don't feel bad, Matthew, because when I came onto the show as a regular, I was the one saying, the artwork's really nice. The artwork's really nice. And it was all those episodes with Freya. Now I've become
jaded. All right. Okay. So there's a panel on a later book that I'm going to share then that just absolutely screams, oh my God, what's going on? But as a whole, this book, it kind of, Batman Detective, for me, it hit two very distinct kind of areas. One is old man Bruce Wayne. So you're getting that old man vibe, a little bit like the Dark Knight Returns, but not as prominent. He's having a bit of a crisis of confidence. He's had kind of losses upon losses, and he works out he's only saved the people he's had direct contact with. That in turn is quite a fulcrum within the story. This is kind of like a major part, and in many ways it reminded me of the many deaths of Batman way back in Batman 430 to 432, I think it is, the John Byrne story, where somebody's going around killing off the mentors of Bruce Wayne. So there's still that kind of like that history element in there. I'd loved seeing Knight and Squire from the Batman Incorporated days. I thought that was a really good mix, and I'm glad, as much as superheroes sometimes should be extinguished. Yes, I'm talking to you, Jason Todd. Should have stayed dead.
No.
Yes, it should. I'm glad to see that Beryl survived, because I really liked her when she was in Incorporated. I liked her when she interacted with Batgirl, Steph Brown, in her own book before Flashpoint. So for all the, I suppose, I'm not going to say old timers because it's not quite that old, but for all those fans who've been around a while, there is lots of like nuance to this book. And I agree with Matthew. I think the art's spectacular. There are a couple of panels that kind of throw you for a loop. Broad Bruce and Dwarf Bruce, for example, are just a couple that kind of detract your eye a little bit. But that panel where they're talking to Gentleman Ghost and the monologue where he's explained how he got the gauntlet and stuff like that, it just makes sense. It's just a well worked book, and I think Tom Taylor, I think he's done himself absolutely proud of this book. I think it's a great read, and it's interesting to see how it's going to go. And
he's set the stage for what has the potential to be a fantastic arc, and I'm hoping that story-wise it continues in that direction.
Definitely,
because we've been burned on really, really great number ones, and then come issue number 2 and 3, it's like.
I suppose the benefit of this is that it's only 6 issues, right? So we're not having to have that sort of over-elaborated, over-extended story with filler issues thrown in, like Heroes in Crisis, or any other kind of major event. So hopefully we're going to just get like through the acts to get to where we want to be. So I was very impressed. So impressed that I've actually put this on my pull list, and I didn't intend to. So there you go. There you go. Excellent. Cool. So Batman the Detective #1 out in the stores now. Go check it out. If you're going down your local comic book shop, make sure you're doing it safely, social distancing, and click and collect if that's still a thing for you. And of course, it's available on the DC Universe app, which is only DC America in fairness, and Comixology, which is worldwide. Just get sorted. All right. Excellent. Okay. Plugs all done. What's next? It is.
I believe I'm up next.
You are. This is, going with Matthew's pick. So this is Joker #2. The main story is written by James Tynion IV, with art by Gwilym March, colors by Arif Prianto, and letters by Tom Napolitano. Of course, where there's a Joker, there's always a punchline. Again, written by Sam Johns and James Tynion IV, with art by Mirko Andolfo, colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr., and letters by the always creative Ariana Meyer, who's done. I know we're not supposed to talk about migraines, but honestly, there's a book out for migraines right now, The Women of Marvel, I think it's called, or Women of Migraines, depending on how you want to look at that. And honestly, she's lettered every single page across. She's done such a great job. So if you're a fan of letterers and kind of see how creative they can be, I know it's not a DC book. All right, but just tell Bud I sent you. You'll be fine. Go and check it out. All right, Matthew, take it away. Joker number 2.
All right, so the Joker number 2 picks up exactly where the last issue left off. So to give a little backstory to this is at Arkham Asylum, there was essentially a time-released Joker gas bomb that went off. It was a slightly altered issue where it didn't cause the laughing that most people have when come into contact with the Joker toxin, and it killed a lot of people in Arkham Asylum. And the story is mostly, unlike around Batman or anybody else, as you can see on the front cover here, the story is focused really on Commissioner Gordon and how he's doing with all of this. So he was approached by a lady that we don't know, she gave her name as Cressida. And so they're talking to each other. She's like, hey, I noticed you have some personal ties with the Joker. I want you to find him and kill him because we think you're the best person to do this. Commissioner Gordon's like, I don't know. Give me some time. And so that's where it picks up with this. It's him doing an internal monologue about his first days on the force, about how when he was struggling, he was trying to find money for his wife and Barbara and the kid that they knew was on the way. And, being a police captain or commissioner wasn't paying enough. And so he was trying to figure out how to get some money when somebody was like, hey, I know a way to get some money on the side if you really want to know. And he's like, oh man, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. And he finally cleared his head. He's like, yeah, that I'd have to go against my morals to do that. And I'm not that kind of person. So we jump back to the present, and he's instead of simply taking on the job, not informing Batman of anything, and just hunting down the Joker, he actually calls Batman, is straight up with him, minus the killing part. He wants to try to keep that a little up his sleeve, because Batman's never been he's always had that mantra of no killing, even when it comes to the Joker. And so where Commissioner Gordon might, question that at sometimes, we all know he respects Batman and his decisions.
It's ironic, isn't it? Because you think the Joker's crippled Barbara, and Barbara got better. He killed Jason, and Jason got better. Yet the Joker's actually taken more from Commissioner Gordon than he ever has from Batman, because he killed his wife Sarah in part of the earthquake story, No Man's Land. He's killed his son recently, James.
Yep, or he led him to kill.
Himself. So you're kind of in that situation where they've both had these losses, but Batman's seemed to come back and be all right. So,
well, Batman has more access to take out his frustration, so to speak. He punches a lot of people more often than Commissioner Gordon.
True that.
And as you said, crippling Barbara, Commissioner Gordon has lost a lot at the hands of the Joker, which is why we presume Cressida had approached him about this.
Yeah.
Had wanted they were like, hey, we know how much you hate this guy, so I think it would be best if you can go kill him. And and so he's talking with Batman about this. He's not, like I said, he doesn't tell him about the killing fact. He's just wanting some assistance in helping find the Joker, so to speak. He doesn't tell him about the killing. And then when he's finally, they're trying to make a deal, Batman was like, I need you to promise me you won't kill him. And he was like, that makes sense to me. And then Oracle chimes in and goes, hey, he technically didn't promise, to which he responds with, oh, you're just trying to look out for your old man, aren't you, Barbara? Which shocks both Batman and Oracle, because they assume he doesn't know who Oracle is.
Yeah, he drops the dime, big time.
And so then the story takes, it stops with them separating out Barbara I skipped this a little next to, I was going to discuss that in a little bit, but Barbara and Gordon are talking about everything together, and they're just, having a family moment, so to speak.
Okay. Cool.
We then leave that and go over to this scene, as you see here. This guy, which I don't recognize. I don't know if you guys know, or if he's a new character. I don't recognize him.
I think it's a new character. I don't recognize him off the top of my head. So
right, and so he looks like a cross between Hitler and Two-Face, and so I don't. That's just what I thought of. I was like, wow, Mecha Hitler. He's back.
Yeah.
I don't know. But essentially, we know Joker is abroad. He's alive. And where we kind of left off in the last issue is we saw him in like a hotel or resort with a bunch of dead people around him, of course.
It's the Joker.
Yeah. And so these guys are approaching him. It was like, hey, you made some people really angry with that Arkham bomb. And he's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Whatevs.
And what we find out is that essentially Joker has these like resorts that he hides in all across the world, like 15 of them, I believe it said. And
you wonder what sort of train that is, don't you? It's like, can you get that from like a regular holiday agent or what?
I don't know. That would be cool. But essentially, these people are trying to hide the Joker from these people that are angry with him, because he made some people angry, and he's like, "I don't care. This is my plan."
Joker made people angry. What?
He's just here for the laughs.
All shits and giggles till somebody dies.
Right?
And it's hilarious.
It's all shits and giggles until someone giggles and shits.
Indeed.
Oh, excuse my language. Sorry, I forgot we were going on YouTube.
No, that's fine. That one's fine.
But yeah, it's really well done story. I don't want to spoil too much because we end up finding out who Cressida is related to. We end up finding some of the people that are, when we say we made the Joker or the Joker made a lot of people angry, he made a lot of people angry. And so there's several factions trying to hunt down the Joker. And he's essentially he led a false trail, or what he says, he led a false trail so he can watch this war pursue as these people come try to find him.
Okay.
And what I'm afraid of is that Commissioner Gordon is going to end up getting caught in the crossfires between all of this.
Yeah.
Because the story is heavily based around Commissioner Gordon. Instead of Batman's moved as a side character in this, and Commissioner Gordon has been made into the spotlight, been put in the spotlight on this, which is really cool. I love Commissioner Gordon. I often joke about, I have the Jason Todd cosplay. I have a Dick Grayson in the workings, the whole Nightwing. But I often joked back when I grew out my mustache. I was like, oh, I could be a young Commissioner Gordon if I wanted to. I love his character. He's a very down-to-earth guy, which I relate to a lot.
So for me, Commissioner Gordon's like the Doctor Who assistant. He's the character that grounds the reader.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so you need that. Otherwise, you're just on trips of fancy, and it makes no sense. There has to be that element.
Right.
It's very much a Commissioner Gordon story. I totally agree with you on that one. Josh, what do you think of the Joker 2? Because you were quite on the fence, if I remember correctly, in the first issue. Was that right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you feel this time around?
So this one I enjoyed a lot more. I personally like the interaction between Commissioner Gordon and Batman. And for him to finally drop that hint, drop the mic that he knows who Oracle is, even that had me like, wait, what? Like it came out of nowhere, and it was so well done. I like the pace of the book. I didn't feel at any point during this did I feel it was over wordy. And considering how dialogue heavy this book was, for it to not be overly wordy, it had that nice balance. My issue with the book was more on aspects of the art. specifically with Commissioner Gordon, when he goes from having his glasses being completely like covered and shaded, and then all of a sudden only one's shaded and the other lens is clear, and then none of them are, both of them are clear. I mean, it kept going back and forth.
I think that's just to emphasize one, lighting, of course, and
which I
facial
get,
expressions.
but it's still it. And maybe that's the, I got to keep the essence of Freya.
I was going to say, I thought Freya had left. and yet here she is, back, Freya. Dude.
Wow, you've changed so much.
Freya's so much better looking than I am. But I mean, you guys can see that aspect where it's weird that all of a sudden it will shift back and forth. I have to give Commissioner Gordon some credit. I mean, he had a lot of balls to ask Batman, I need access to the Bat computer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
I need access to Oracle. I need to be able to call you anytime. I need this now.
And I got a chuckle. I don't know if you guys did, but I got a chuckle at the phone that was given to him was red.
Yep.
So we have a modern day Bat phone.
I just love the fact that little interaction between Barbara and Gordon. Like, why is this one red? You think I can't keep up with the phone? Yeah. You've lost the last 3 ones I've given you for Christmas.
So, the other weird thing, Joker's 2-color eyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pink eye, green eye. Like, is it a glass eye? I'm a little confused.
It indicates a little bit more of the madness of him.
But
oh my God. I know it's already really well done with the character.
I'm talking like Freya here. There needs to be consistency, and I feel like those little nuances are not consistent unless there's a reason why. Like I said, a glass eye.
So here we go. Here's a thought process for you. I'm just going to throw this out there.
I'm sitting down.
What if that's not really the real Joker? And it's an imposter.
We've had
imposter villains before. There's been at least one Two-Face imposter.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just as a thought.
And we do know that there are 3 Jokers.
Is that part of continuity?
I don't know. I don't think that it's one of the 3. I don't know. Maybe Clayface is going to make an appearance.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Clayface gone back to evil?
Clayface does enjoy cosplaying as Joker. Straight up.
He does.
So he's telling us that Matthew's Clayface.
You're right.
I mean,
dang it. Yeah, how did he find out?
One of the Clayfaces is actually called Matthew. So, there you go. Good old Matthew Hagen. All right. So, I like this book. The Commissioner Gordon story is brilliant. It reads like year one. And I really loved year one. Year one is one of my favorite Bat books of all time. The art, I love Gwilym March. For me, the guy can do no wrong at all. However, Josh, would you like to park the page on page number 8 for me, please, sir?
Which one was that? That was
yes, back one. No, keep going. Sorry, then forward. Or do you want? There, stop there. Right, could you zoom in on this bottom panel where Batman's talking to Commissioner Gordon's elbow?
This one right here.
The other one.
This one.
All right. So I would like to know, you see how detailed the art is, what happened to Batman's face?
It looks like he's got like a card chipping out of his mouth.
Or is that the mask he bought off of Etsy?
It's still the price tag. It's still hanging there.
That kind of way. I was like, what? So there's my Freya moment out of the way.
Yeah.
The issue with this book, I think, isn't the main story. And to be fair, it's not even the punchline story, which is a little bit meh.
That threw me off too. When I was first reading through it, said chapter 2 punchline. I was like, was that the end of it? And I had to double check. No, there's still more in the book.
Well, yeah, because DC likes to throw in all these little extra stories.
And you've got to think that Joker is one of the books that's going to go up in price for all the covers, the cardstock or the regular one. This book is going to be at the higher price point. My question for people to think about whilst we go to our break is that price point sufficient for this book? Bearing in mind, you have that punchline back up. All right. Whilst you all ponder that, let's hear an advert for one of our other shows. This time around, Josh, I believe it's the Old Timers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bud, do your dance, my friend.
Do you want to find out what makes the professor do his happy dance? Check out the Old Timers Comic Book Show, only on the UCPN.
It never gets old, ever.
It's class. It is class. Bless his cotton little socks. All right. Okay. So we've gone.
I needed a good laugh.
Yeah. So we might have to play the advert again after this then. So we have had a really good book in Batman Detective. We've had a really enjoyable second issue for the Joker. And of course, Josh, not content with all that, has to go and pick something completely and utterly, as the name suggests, random. And has gone with, of course, the Legends of the Dark Knight. Now,
it was either this or Mad. Take your pick.
So, no comment. This, we have not gone back in time. We are not looking at the classic Legends of the Dark Knight series, which was the first #1 Batman in over 40 years when it was published back in 1989. This is a digital first book. So that means no continuity, no effort to make anything make sense, and a whole heap of dodginess, and not in the Australian way. Right. So this is written with art also provided by Derek Robertson, inks by Richard P. Clark, colors by Diego Rodriguez, letters by Simon Boland, who I have to say is one of my favorite letterers when I see his work on Dynamite. All right. Excellent. Josh, why on earth did you pick this?
I think that panel just describes it all.
That's it. That's why you picked it right there.
Okay, so when I saw Legends of the Dark Knight, it brought back memories of the old action figures.
Oh, yeah. That's
back in the 90s.
I do like
and
those.
Part of me hoped that we would get maybe some sort of incorporation from that. I was so let down. And how's the best way to put this? This is like Brave and the Bold meets. No. You know what? No.
I was going to say Brave and the Bold's funny.
No. Batman Forever in comic book form with the Joker.
All right. Okay.
Because as you go through the story, it's trying to maintain that dark, very serious tone, but still lighten it up, which is exactly what Batman Forever was. Tried to be very serious, but still geared more towards kids. Not Batman and Robin, which was not taken seriously whatsoever. This is trying to be a serious thing. Same with how the Joker is on here, taking that very classic 40s and 50s style. I mean, the way he's even drawn in this reminds me of the Superpowers collection from the 70s. So I feel like this is the type of Batman story that would be geared more towards teenagers. Not completely dark and broody, but close enough.
Edgy.
Just kind of teetering on the edge, but more on the less dark side. It
Dark
has some,
side. Where's Dark Side? Oh God.
I think after this book, I'm going to get a blast of Omega beams into my face.
You're going to get something.
You want to get something.
But story-wise, I didn't really care for it. And so at that point, I was like, oh, I'm going to get a whole lot of shit for this.
Yes,
Part
you
for the
are.
course? Yes, I am. The artwork, though, was the redeeming quality for me. I like Batman's design. I like the fact that they really play heavily on the blacks and ease in the contrast with the blues.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Joker just like it's Joker. But it's a Batman and Joker story. It's pretty run of the mill at that point.
And that, I think, is my problem with the book. It is so run of the mill. This, when people give us grief for liking comic books, this
Because
is
of books like this.
Yeah, this is the sort of evidence they're gonna hit us with. You know, they're not going to look at Batman Detective. They're not going to look at the Joker. They're not going to look at the classic books like Year One or Dark Knight Returns or even Arkham Asylum or Serious House. They're going to come with this stuff, and someone will say something like, "Hey, this is by Derek Robertson. You know, the penciler from The Boys, and we all know how good The Boys is. So this will be brilliant." Thanks.
Awkward silence.
Yeah, but
Because I'm right.
yeah.
I didn't say you weren't. I just said awkward silence.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I don't know. The part, and I think what really triggered maybe the Batman Forever connection was the whole bit with the helicopter.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, because this panel right here with Joker laughing, all I see is Two-Face.
Yeah.
Yeah, as he was flying the helicopter. And then Batman just kind of crawls in. I was kind of disappointed he didn't head bash the window and jump in the door that way. You know.
Typical Batman stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
So
Cool. All right. So you have learned from your sins, then? Yes. Is that what we're saying?
let's be honest. I'll still pick those.
Yeah, it's good. You still got to pick those books. All right, Matthew. What did you think of this book?
I believe Josh covered my whole standpoint as well. Is I think what he said really summed it up. You know, it was a take on a classic, but it was just ultimately disappointing with how much they try to cheat different things in different points of the story in it. And
Yeah,
I think Josh summed it up pretty decently.
yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of people. I think if you're buying this book for your kid, I think you are going to enjoy it for what it is, which is just a daft, run-of-the-mill Batman story. No massive ifs, buts, no coconuts, no massive real cliffhangers. It's one of those ones where everyone's going to work out that everyone's fine in the end. It's stuff like this that makes me get annoyed about Batman, because DC can't do anything but keep him in, And we've seen digital first book before. We've looked at the Batwoman one, Josh. We've looked at the Supergirl one, and they're not really that good. I don't think. I grew up reading comic books. I'm sure you guys did as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we turned out all right. So in my head, why can't kids read Batman the Detective? Why can't they? I don't know. Do we have to have a substandard product? Just slap a bat on it and hope it sells?
I feel like that's how this book is. It's for kids wanting to get into comics, you're not going to hand them The Killing Joke.
Right.
No.
That's
fair. That's a fair point.
Start with this, and then as they grow and understand the nature of the world and understand the difference between reality and this median, then they can transition to books like The Killing Joke.
This is a I think this is a good comic to start people on, like young readers. Like, I don't know who Batman is. Okay, well,
what
check
rock
this
have you
out.
been living under?
Yeah, it's a decent starting point, but it doesn't live up to the expectations that we've seen from other comic books.
That's a shout. That's a shout. And that's a good point to say. Actually, we're probably not the target audience for this.
No.
Right. So you know, take that as it may. You know, if you're a Bat fan that buys absolutely everything with Bat on, knock yourselves out. If you're buying it for your kid, sort of like you're under 10s, you're under 12s, maybe. Yeah, fine. Enjoy it for what it is. You know, it's like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Here's what I'll do. So in a couple of months, Lucas will be here. We will do a Random Dad Chronicles segment, and I will have Lucas, who is 9, review this book, and we'll get his take on it, and then we'll come back to it in a couple of months.
Sounds like a plan. All right, excellent.
You mentioned The Killing Joke earlier, and I immediately drove. So I memorized that whole monologue, the memories monologue. And so as soon as you say that, I tried to I find the past to be aware, and then I had to cut out of it.
Cool, excellent. All right, so there you go. 3 books of varying quality. You've got the big hit of Batman Detective. You've got the slow burner, the Joker, which is going up in price, and then of course you've got the not for us but for somebody, Legends of the Dark Knight. All right, cool. Whilst we've been on air, and I know that Matthew is a fan. Matthew, there you go. Have a Red Hood picture from me.
Yes,
there you go.
Yes, wow. Looks just like him. I love it.
Just as is.
I feel honored.
I ran out of space for his left arm. Sorry.
It's okay. He'll probably lose it at some point.
Hashtag DC art.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you for that, Matthew. It's been a pleasure. Welcome to the crew.
Thank you for inviting me. I enjoy being part of podcasts. I enjoy talking to people. Anytime you guys want to invite me on any show, I'll be more than happy to be here.
Excellent. All right. So that's Matthew booked in for a fortnight's time. Brilliant. Woohoo.
Fortnight.
Sorry, in 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
Don't get all game yet. Yeah.
I didn't know we were playing Fortnite. Oh man.
Almost triggered some PTSD there. I can't play it unless it's on the mobile. All right.
That's it. I'm out.
All right. So all that's left for me to say is thanks, Matthew. Thanks, Josh. Don't forget to check out the UCPN for all your favorite shows, including Josh. They're now live.
Ooh, we've got the Jank Think Tank with Matthew and myself.
Yeah. That guy.
And of course, Flipside Focus, all things indie.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Excellent. And you've already seen the advert for the Old Timers. You've got Crisis in Toyverse, and of course, our sister migraine show, No Price Podcast. There you go. Check it out on the UCPN. Check our YouTube channel. Do all the subscribes and the links and the bells and the whistles and all that sort of stuff.
All the stuff.
They kind of get you all the notifications that to bug you out your working day, because it's going to be us talking comic books. All right. This is Joining the Machine Hughes. Once again, saying adios.
Audio guy's going to get pissed.